Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
That's all right.
I can wing it.
Well, it's about exactly that.
See?
All right, let me do my little intro here.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B. This is Coffee Break Conversations for the 21st Century. As you can see, I'm joined here with two fine gentlemen. Not joined here with. Either way, you guys know them already, even though if you haven't seen them. We have Jeff K, returning guest, and we have Will H, returning guest.
Hello, all.
Yeah, I think I did like your halfway episode. It was like 6 months in.
That sounds about right. I think it was
25.
number 25. Yeah.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Nice.
This is 52, though.
Ooh.
New 52. Any DC fans out there? So, anyway, there's a specific reason why I wanted you guys together. Now, you guys obviously have been friends for quite some time.
Yeah, quite a very long time.
Jeff, in fact, being the best man at Will's wedding.
That is correct. And when Jeff gets married, I'll be the best man at his wedding.
Yep.
When?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah. We're all waiting anxiously, buddy.
Yep.
Starting to sound like my mother.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
not to put any pressure on you, but, to put a little pressure on you.
Just a little bit.
Every time I go to a wedding, you're next. I'm going to start doing it to people at funerals.
So, tonight I want to talk about getting older. Obviously, you guys have a couple years on me. Not a lot, but a couple.
Few.
But recently, I've been going through this kind of, I don't know, it's a phase, but I've just been kind of more aware of like my own mortality and kind of just aware that I am getting older. I don't understand why kids are doing the things they're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the old man that was like yelling in my generation, and get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you stay alive forever.
Yeah, well,
It's true.
I think the thing is, I wanted to try to just talk about some of the shit that we go through, that especially when we were kids. Like I said, like there was the older generation,
Sure.
like, oh, you kids today, you don't get this, you and your long hair. But yeah, I've been feeling like I had these thoughts in my head, and then I feel like, oh wait, I'm not that old man, am I? Like I don't want to be that guy, so I have to keep my mouth shut sometimes. But I just, I hear like my kid listens to the music, and I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm feeling what those people felt, where it's like you don't understand anymore. You don't understand some of the ways the world works.
Yeah.
And
It's sad.
it is sad.
It's sad when you come to that realization that you suddenly are that person.
But I don't want it to make me bitter. I don't want to let myself become bitter about it. And I think that's one of the things you see a lot, like angry old men, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we're at a good age range where because of how old we are and the prevalence of the internet, and we kind of came up with the internet while it was in its infancy, when we were younger. Like I know for myself, like AOL was still relatively new, so I grew up with that, and I grew up with the whole internet thing. So I don't find myself as out of touch as maybe people my age back then would have been. I feel like I'm still kind of somewhat connected, but there's still a lot that I have young kids too, and a lot of the stuff that's going on with them.
Yeah.
Some of it, yeah. What is a JoJo Siwa? Do you know what a JoJo Siwa is? I've heard that name before, and I don't know what it is.
No clue.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
No idea. I don't know. I've been watching Pinky Malinky.
What is that?
Waiting for you guys to get here. It's a cartoon show about a kid who's a sausage.
All right.
Or he's kind of like a hot dog, but he's definitely a sausage because you see like the little tie on his head.
Right.
And he lives with humans, but he's a sausage.
And nobody's eaten them yet.
I mean, I haven't watched every episode. But...
Okay. Well, we know where that's going to go.
I think one of the funny things that I always kind of hit me when I was like, all right, I'm getting a little bit old, is when you start catching all the innuendos you missed in movies and cartoons and things like that.
Yeah.
And at first you find them funny, and now like if I'm sitting there with like Olivia and Milo or something, and I saw one of them, like I'd want to change the channel. It's that reaction.
Yes, very much so. Very
Too
much
young
so.
for this.
But they're there. It's stuff you didn't think about when you were younger.
Now, when we were younger, do you remember some of the shit that people used to say to us? I remember my dad saying, "You kids, you don't know what hard work is."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got that one because I had my first job when I was 10.
But I feel like that's exactly the kind of thing your dad would say.
Yeah. Your dad does strike me
well,
as
we
that
discussed this the last time. My father is
Shout
Red
out
Foreman.
to Mr. K.
Yep. Mr. K is the man.
My father is Red Foreman in real life.
It's true.
I could see him saying that. I don't think he ever did because like we were always helping my grandfather with something or helping him with something.
Pull a
I had
bamboo.
you got to pull the bamboo.
Yep.
I had the paper route when I was 10. I got like my first real job when I was 14, and I haven't not had a job since. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was laid off for a couple of years and couldn't find anything, but I was even still doing like odd bar shifts for cash, DJ, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I always because I just can't sit still either.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he ever did say that to us. I could see it coming out of his mouth though.
Yeah.
I could hear it.
Yeah.
I could hear it in my head.
Definitely, 100%.
What about you? Was that like something that?
No, actually, my parents were on the younger side of the spectrum. So, like, for instance, I think my mom turned 20 right after I was born,
Okay.
and my dad was only 2 years older than her. So, my parents were a little bit more down to earth. Whereas, like, in high school, all my friends' parents were like in their 50s. Mine were in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So they were a little bit more in touch. They had not so much the hippie mentality, but that more, freedom mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Buzzy is just kind of a laid back person in general too.
If you've ever seen my dad, he's still exactly the same as he was back then.
Yeah, I've only met him like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he really is
yeah.
like the most laid back person I could ever possibly know. Like he's so carefree and just he's retired now. He just got retired or just retired in October. And but I mean he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's still got a blonde mullet and it's just how my dad rolls. He loves 80s rock. He loves Dream Theater. That's his new thing.
Yep.
It's his new thing.
Well, I wouldn't say it's his new thing. My dad kind of grasps. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening, but I'm just going to call you out. He finds something and latches onto it. So Dream Theater's been his thing for the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. And like, if you get into his car, the only thing that you're going to listen to is Dream Theater. And before that, it was like Queensryche, and before that, it was Winger. I mean,
wow.
he goes through phases, but
I could see like the pattern there.
yeah, no, but he's definitely stuck with this one for quite some time, and I'm very proud of him for that.
I'm on Winston Surf shirt right now. No, that's a real band.
I've heard of the band.
Have you really?
Yes, I actually have.
They just came out with a new album in November, and I actually haven't listened to anything else since then.
I've heard it's good. I've never actually heard it.
It was on when you walked in.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Really good.
It was good.
Yeah, if anybody listening, my music suggestion for the episode is Winston Surf shirt. Check out the album Apple Crumble. It's phenomenal.
Steve
If
is
you're into
very
that
good
kind of
at
thing.
turning me on to like new bands that I haven't heard of before.
We'll put it on after the episode.
Well, like you introduced me to Minus the Bear when we were down in LBI.
I love Minus the
Yeah,
Bear.
Minus the Bear is really good.
But we were just sitting on the beach and you threw it on. I'm like, what is this? I like this. I'd never heard of him.
One thing I'll say, I'm not to brag, but I'm good at is finding the right music for like the right atmosphere, where you are.
Yeah.
I think I have music just for sitting on the beach. I have music for, we want to get ready to go out somewhere.
That sounds like bragging, actually.
Okay, well, I mean,
You don't want to brag about it, feel free. You are good at that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
But back to the
Thank
subject.
Thank you.
To the crux of the matter.
Sorry.
One of the things that, first of all, do you guys consider technically millennials or Gen X?
I think I hit the first year of millennial.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it's kind of a catch-all. I'm technically Gen X, but it really depends on what you look at. Because, like, I'm at the end of the 70s. I was born in 79.
Okay.
But millennial is kind of like, it kind of encompasses both.
Yeah, because in the earlier years of millennial,
Right.
there's that
Or
gray
actually,
area.
no, not for me. It's Xennial. Xennial is that gray area.
Okay.
It's the late 70s to like early, like not even to mid 80s. I think it's like literally like 78, 79 to 84.
Okay.
It's like a very small range. But
So I'm
that's
in there
just
too then.
Yeah. me
You
too.
would probably be in there too, yeah. But
Yeah.
but again, it's Xennial.
Well, we're like, that's the thing. Everybody's got a different name for
Yeah.
like these.
That was a
different-
new term that they just came out with recently.
Well, it's like people that can talk about millennials and they talk about, kids today are millennials. Like, no, they're not.
No, they're not.
No.
It's a totally different generation, totally different.
Yes.
Totally different upbringing,
Yes. Yeah.
different world they live in than the world we lived in.
Yeah,
as
and
kids.
I feel like they've
Very much
divided
so.
them up even more than what I remember. Like I remember being Gen X, Gen Y,
Generation Z now, right?
Z, like they were just letters, and now they're
Dragon
just
Ball
throwing all
Z.
these other little terms in there.
Now it's
World
like
War Z.
I call it iGen.
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 Yeah.
That's the new one.
Is it they, Gen? Do you have to say they?
No, it's iGen.
Oh, okay.
Internet generation, I think.
Oh, really?
I think.
Oh.
I don't know.
We sound old.
I read Jonathan Haidt's book. What's it? The Coddling of the American Mind, and they refer to the new generation as iGen in the book, at least.
So that would be like the kids that are middle school-ish now?
Well, the kids that are graduating high school already.
Graduating high school now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because that's...
It's
I
mostly-
can see. That's all they know.
Yeah, it's mostly kids born after 2000.
Right.
Okay.
So they're the ones like now coming into the workforce and everything.
Okay.
And I don't know. I feel like the older generations don't take into account that the kids after us growing up in a very different world than what we grew up in.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much
You know,
so.
especially now,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
opposed to, you know, when we were kids, like the world we grew up in wasn't that much different from our parents. But then as we started to get a little older,
Right.
it started to change at a faster rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very fast.
I really feel like where you saw the biggest switch, so to speak, as far as maybe the way people interacted, operated, looked at everything, viewed everything, was 9/11.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like not exactly that day an event, but kind of that point in time really started to flip things.
How so?
Because that's where like so if you think about that, we were 19, 20, whatever, we were just coming out of high school. The way that I think things were taught, were perceived, were kind of passed down to the kids who were younger at that time changed.
Okay.
So a lot more political correctness, a lot more, careful this, careful that. It became a little bit more, and I think that's where you started getting some of the helicopter parenting coming in, was kind of around that time.
I think that's a correlation and not so much.
I'm not saying it's that event. I'm saying that
around
point in
that time.
around that
I
time.
got you. I got you.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
That makes
could
sense.
see that.
It's just using that event is a very easy thing for people to pinpoint.
Yeah. But I think, you know, a lot of times you hear about people now talk, oh, everybody gets the participation trophies. And like, number one, like, okay, we can knock that all day. I'll agree. Like, that's not necessarily the best idea. I would argue, at least. I'm not saying I know the right or wrong way. But the thing is that if you look at the people that are doing that are putting those practices into effect, it's like they're not millennials.
No.
Like, those are our parents.
Yes.
Those are, you know, even Gen Xers. Like,
Yeah,
the people that you're knocking for having that done to them are not the ones responsible for doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like we didn't decide. I didn't even have that. Like, that was not my generation. It was kids after me, but they didn't decide to get participation trophies. It was parents of their parents that, you know,
Right.
implemented those practices.
Right.
Oh yeah, when I first started coaching, my first year, I gave out like an MVP award, most improved player, and what I call my Iron Man award, like the guy who, you know, busts his butt the whole season, doesn't miss a practice, any of that stuff. And when I said I was going to do that, a couple of the parents were like, you can't do that. You have to give awards to everybody. I was like, I can do whatever I want. It's my team, and this is how it's going to go.
Yeah. No.
And a couple of them were really annoyed by it. And the team I have now, they don't care. I've done it every year since we're in 5th grade. They don't care. They're like, oh yeah, I got to win MVP next year. It makes them try.
Yeah. But it's not about.
That's important.
I don't understand the mentality where it's like, oh, everybody should get a trophy. It's like, well, if everybody gets one, then what's special about a trophy? Like, we should just not give them at all then.
Yeah. No.
You know?
Although, to be fair, I do remember, and I can attest to this because I still actually have them. I do remember just getting trophies for like Little League.
Yeah, we got
It's one
Right?
thing
So
if you're
it's
dealing like
still
4 or
along
5.
the same lines.
Well, no, I
but-
think there comes a time, like, that's when you're a little kid. I remember doing
Yeah.
Little League in 1st grade and
Yeah.
everybody get a trophy.
Yeah.
So, we're talking little kids. Okay, that's a different story.
But
And
even
that's where my daughter is right now. So she's
Even there,
okay,
participation
just,
trophy
there's
type
a little, there's room for...
I'm paying so much for these sports nowadays. At least give my kids something. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Give them a sock puppet, anything. I don't care.
even the one year I did T-ball, we all got the trophies at the end. But
yeah, the banquet. The
somebody got a game ball every game.
Yes.
Oh, really?
And that was only one person.
Yep.
I don't remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
getting that.
So that kind of
I
set it apart.
hated baseball.
Oh yeah.
I only did it the one year, but I do remember everybody, like every game, somebody who was the best player of the game got the game ball.
Yep. It was always the coach's son.
My wife just decided she wants to sign my son up for T-ball.
Oh yeah. No, she should.
Yeah,
Oh.
why not?
Me and him were both kind of like,
Maybe lacrosse.
She was like, "You're Cuban, you have to play."
Maybe lacrosse.
I thought that was
lacrosse is a
Dominican.
good sport.
It's all mostly Caribbean, Hispanic
Do they?
countries.
I know Dominican's always big for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuban, big.
Yeah.
Baseball
yeah.
and boxing are the
Okay.
big sports.
Boxing.
So get him into boxing.
I'm trying, man. It's
Yeah.
hard.
We just had I had Milo in lacrosse for the first time the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. I mean, he's still on the younger
Yeah, he's
side,
still
so
little.
he's still a little, not all there, but no, he enjoyed it.
Anyway,
Yes.
so I had this thing wrote down, and I wanna read it. I don't usually do this on the show, but I don't wanna, I wanna fuck up what I had in mind when I was thinking about this. So, one of the things that I've heard, they say millennials have no clue what hard work looks like and are unwilling to pay their dues. Now, my response to that is, hey, that's possibly because we were raised in the dawn of the internet and we're just coming of age when we realized we were force-fed BS from the factory farm of school system.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's that cookie cutter, go through, learn what we tell you, and don't think for yourself.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And as a result of all that, we're more aware of the inefficiencies and the uselessness of some of the like the traditions and the routines that they put you through.
Right.
And we don't want to do that. This is stupid. We're looking at it like this doesn't make any sense. Why have you been doing like this for 50 years?
Right.
So we were the generation. I remember being kids. They told us you could do anything you want, just put your mind to it.
Yeah.
It's not, it wasn't so much shut up and get in line, even though we got that too.
Right.
But it was like you're telling kids they could do anything, and now all of a sudden they're doing something different than what you envisioned, and that's a problem for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you said anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think about that? Especially when it comes to schooling, like our education, the way we're taught, like it's not so much about developing individuality. It's more about, learning how to follow instructions, respect authority, all these things, like which are okay, they're not without value, of course.
Right.
But is it really building human beings or
No,
is
it's robots.
Robots.
Yeah, we're building consumers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
And that's where, like, I think people like us who generally kind of have questioned everything anyway, even going back to like being kids.
Question everything.
Everything.
Politics, religion, family,
Everything. Yes.
everything. I'll question it.
Yep.
100%.
But we were never told.
Why does Uncle Jerry always come to Christmas with his friend? I'm kidding. I don't have an Uncle Jerry.
We kind of bucked the system, so to speak, anyway. And maybe it is just a product of how we grew up, single parent households, step parents, things like that.
Right.
We were kind of all over the place. You're with one person one week, dad's house this weekend, mom's house that weekend, and you're getting different information from so many places. And then I had the insane aunt who gave us all the crazy information.
Boy, did
Yeah.
did she.
Yes, she did.
So I think that just as a product of how we grew up, but you're right with where the school has gone from being free thinkers, question this, analyze that, etc., which we've always done, delved into books or research or whatever to kind of form our own opinions on things, to this is the hard line in the sand of what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it,
Right.
don't question, do this, follow instructions, etc., etc. And it really has changed. I think that's where
Well, I was going to say, I think it's the other way. Like, it was like that for us. Not everybody, fell
not
in
everybody
line.
did it. Right.
Nowadays, it seems like they're kind of encouraging more independent thought with kids.
Starting to at the younger levels.
Yeah,
But where
I
I'm
see
talking
it,
about is in these
Like, with
like
my son's age.
Yeah.
high school, college, just kind of post-college
Mm-hmm.
people right now are the ones that had that like do whatever they say, what they say is gospel, et cetera,
Mm-hmm.
thing. And that's where they're just like blindly leading or blindly following, any little headline that they see or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with everything that Jeff just said. I feel like, although I do see what you're talking about with my daughter as well, I do see a little bit of the free thinking, but and I do also see that from the other perspective of when we were in school, kind of, I don't want to say being force fed, but kind of fall in line type of thing. I know that I was always the non-conformist, and I paid for that because I was non-conforming.
Didn't we
It
all?
was not. Yeah, it was not easy to be non-conforming.
Yeah.
That's like the one place you want to conform.
Yeah.
is in high school, just for your social life's sake.
Yeah.
See, for me, it never was an issue, but I could see from my perspective how other people that were sort of non-conformist did have an issue with that. Fortunately, I was just a nice kid and everybody liked me. But teachers didn't like me. Nobody in school that was an authority figure liked me.
Did you get in a lot of trouble?
Boy, did I! I was not a good.
It's a great response.
Yeah, I was not a good student. I mean, I was a good student. I've always been smart. I never agreed with having to do homework. I felt like if I aced my tests, that should be enough, which I did. And I also didn't agree with going to school all the time.
Yeah.
So, but
I didn't agree with it either. I just didn't have the balls to buck that part of the system.
boy, I definitely had no problem with that. I just felt like sometimes it was better to sleep in than to go to school.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was bad.
And school-wise, I kind of saw it from both sides because growing up and living in like Vanderhaven and doing the skate culture and everything that we were involved in,
Yeah.
but then being a lacrosse player as well, which at the time was very much a kind of privileged white sport.
Right.
I got both sides of it. I had the rich kids that I played sports with that I hung out with up on the mountain, and then I went and skated with all my friends that lived in the neighborhood, so I was all over the place. So I think that really helped me in development and kind of seeing every angle of things because I got to see so many different ways people lived.
And it's very different ways too. Like
Very different.
I remember the crew used to hang out with.
Yeah. Me, him, Pete,
T.
my brother, T,
Caps.
The Caps, yeah.
Yeah. And, it was the same thing like for Drew, he was the band guy, crazy hair, you remember.
Boy, do I.
There's pictures of it somewhere.
Oh, I got to put those online.
The one that you found from the one show with the cover band where he looks like he's in the Witches movie is still my favorite one.
Which one is that?
It's like a blurry one. He's playing at one of the shows and he's like hunched over and you can see.
He's got a few of those. Like, you play like in a rock band, you headbang.
Yeah.
And when
No.
somebody takes a picture in mid headbang,
Yes.
it's like your face is kind of like halfway, like the inertia is just keeping it up like this.
I have a lot of pictures because back when you guys were doing in arms, I used to, photograph your bands and stuff. I have a lot of those pictures that I've never put anywhere.
Oh, there's
Really?
there's one
Yeah.
you tagged him in on Facebook that's just hilarious, and like Allison pops up, she's like, "Thank you for this," and he immediately follows, "I hate you so much."
There was one we played the Skate or Die festival, and we played on like a half pipe.
Oh yeah, the thing up in Flanders.
Well, we each, him, myself, Darren, and Fido, I think, all had like horrible pictures from that day. I think mine was actually the worst. But anyway,
Oh,
So
sorry.
while
we
we're on the
got-
band thing,
we got
something that you
potatoes.
threw in there, and you mentioned earlier, music.
yeah. Oh, we'll
Are we gonna
get there.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
get
get
there.
there.
Okay.
get there.
You want to save that for the best part?
Jojo Siwa.
I have a few things to say in that arena. One of the things I thought was weird though is if you think about like our parents' age, they were right around like that hippie generation,
Yeah.
free spirits, free love, and all these people became like like I don't know, like corporate, suit and ties, like empty suits. They go, they take the briefcase to work, and they come home and they watch TV, and then like where did the change happen? How did that happen?
That I don't know.
Something just sparked in them, and they realized that what they were doing and their beliefs weren't enough to cut it. Somewhere something kicked in where it was like go from the whole free love type, free thinking thing to being a conformist, to falling in line,
Or
to getting
maybe-
that corporate job,
It's
and
like they were
giving
like-
up. They cut the hair.
The Wild Stallions finally were broken.
Yeah, or maybe it's
Yes.
the whole idea of like
Wild Stallions.
you can't fix
Sorry.
something from the outside. You can only fix a system from the inside, and you get inside and fall into the whole conformist thing and like, oh yeah, I like the money, so
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna
just
I'm
get
gonna stick
absorbed
with
by
this.
it.
I'm gonna So maybe that's it. I don't know because I mean my dad was never hippie.
Yeah.
Right.
My mom never was. Aunt Katie was probably the closest we got to non-conformist, like 80s rock, big hair kind of thing.
Yeah,
was she
she was-
really nonconformist though? Or did she just
I think it was an act.
I
The whole
think
thing.
she just
The whole thing's
enjoyed
an
being
act.
the popular aunt.
Well,
the
no.
fun aunt.
So you want to talk about where you realize you're getting old is when you start seeing behavior in a authority figure that you looked up to growing up, and you realize that everything they're doing is wrong, and
Yes.
you're more of an adult than them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's bad.
And that's
I
where
remember that.
all three of us just no one's spoken to her in years.
Yeah. But it's weird. I mean, I remember that feeling with parents. Like that first moment when you realize something your parents tell you like is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, you mean like when you think your dad's a superhero, then you realize it's a drunk with a cape?
Yeah. Shout out to Dave Attell. No, but I mean, I remember like my dad telling me something, and I'm just thinking like, there's no fucking way that's true.
Yeah.
I remember being like a kid. Too.
Yeah.
I had to have been in 3rd, 4th grade.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Being like, that was a lie. You just fucking lied.
You know, I'm sure that my parents lied to me, but I never see.
No, he lied to somebody else.
Oh! You mean you? Oh, okay.
caught
And
him.
not to you, to somebody else.
He
You-
lied to somebody else and kind of like made me take part in it. Like, yeah, you remember Steve, right? I was like, yeah.
I've been there before. I've been there before.
Sure,
I
Dad.
felt so dirty.
Sometimes you just gotta take one for your parents, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
No, probably not. It's
No.
probably some stupid story.
It was.
You know. Dumb.
Anyway, but you guys like have that memory?
Kind of, but not really. Like I said, my parents were always
Yeah.
younger.
It,
So
it was my aunt, like I just said.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my parents were older than his aunt, but along the same lines. I mean, they didn't say like, well, okay, I don't want to say they didn't say come party with us because eventually they did. Like when I was in high school, you know, when I lived with my dad, I mean, it was just, you know, it was a constant party, and my friends were welcome to come, and we would, you know, drink underage and, you know, stuff like that. But my parents were, like I said, I never had that strict upbringing,
Yeah.
you know, so I see it from a different perspective because we were that close in age, you know, to be just about 20 years difference isn't that big.
My mom was 22 when she had me, but she like my mom. I feel like, and I don't know if she's gonna listen to this, so
She's going to.
maybe.
That's okay.
But I remember like her telling me stories of when she was young and like people she hung out with, and like these stories are very few and far between. Like I don't know a lot about the way my mom grew up,
Right.
But the picture I've been able to piece together is like, okay, you know, you had your wild times when you were young, but she's so like straight laced and like proper, and
Yeah.
it's like, when did the change happen? I wonder if it has something to do with becoming a parent.
Maybe. Because
Because
that's...
she had me when she was 22, so she was young.
Well,
Right,
that's
right.
to you know, reference my aunt again. She was 16 when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
so even when we were little, she was still kind of like big sister ish.
It was a
Right.
different relationship. That
And then when
develops.
when we were teenagers, like when you, me, Jamie, we all used to hang out. You know, we would just like walk to her house because she only lived a couple miles away and hang
Yeah.
out there. But it was like when we were at the house, when you guys had the band and we were at the house over off Meadow,
Mhm.
where it was fun, and then I realized I was becoming more of an adult than she was, and I was like, yeah, I gotta remove myself from this.
Yeah.
I think everybody kind of had that realization at some point.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know, this doesn't feel fun
This,
anymore.
Yeah,
it's
you know?
just not healthy for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it felt, and like it hurts because it's family, but you know, like you say it all the time on here. Family's not always good for you.
I just had a whole conversation. Me and Betty were talking about it today. Exactly that. Like, sometimes I feel fucked up because I'm just like, family, like that title being related to somebody doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
You know, like
Fair enough.
as far as
Blood does not make you family.
well, no, I mean that in the sense where it's like it doesn't give you some kind of special privilege in
Right.
my book.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like you don't get a free pass because you're family. Like I'm still gonna if you wrong me in some way or you do something shitty, I'm gonna react the same way. What as if it was somebody I work with or something like.
Yeah. No. 100%.
Yeah, like I don't need to deal with you. Like,
Yeah.
goodbye.
But that's where I say, like, blood doesn't make you family. Like, he's family. You know?
Yeah.
His,
100%.
I go over the house and his kids are like, Uncle Jeff. Like, I'm explaining to everybody who I'm coaching. You know, that's my nephew. They're like, oh, I didn't know your brothers had kids. I'm like, well, brother has one.
Yeah. True.
Not for lack of practice.
Well, Chris is only down to one shooter now.
Well,
Oh boy! Shout out to Chris.
So yeah, he's doing good.
How is he?
I saw a picture of him the other day. It looks really creepy without eyebrows.
I say, other than that, the rest is the same.
Yeah, the rest
the
is still
same.
the same, but like he's really Casper the Friendly Ghost in right now.
Oh, man.
But he's good.
I'm glad he's doing good.
He actually got an early reprieve, so to speak. He did 3 chemo treatments, and they told him he was doing so well that he didn't have to come back and do the final 2.
Great.
Really?
So yeah, right on Christmas we found that actually.
Wow.
So yeah, he's just got to go back for his scans and everything, make sure nothing comes back. But he's in recovery now.
That's great.
Good for him.
Yeah,
man.
trying
Good
to put
for
some
him.
weight back on. He's down to like 130 pounds.
Oh wow.
That's
Wow.
rough.
Yeah, but he beat it, so we're good.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good.
So you mentioned something before. You mentioned helicopter parents.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that really being a thing, like as common as it is today? Back when we were kids, like there was always overprotective parents.
Yeah, no, but not at all.
Fewer than what we
It
see.
seems like it was fewer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I remember, like when we were young, most parents were just like, "All right, you go out and play. We'll see you. You know, come back when the street lights come on."
Right.
Like
Right.
now,
Yeah, no, forget
oh
about it.
my God, you
Forget
can't
about
do
it.
that.
No,
Why isn't anybody using the fucking hammer? That's
Why?
why I have
Because I
this
can't
thing.
reach it.
he can't reach
You
it.
could just ask. I could just
Can you-
Mjolnir it
should I-
over to you.
Doesn't
I'm not
Thor
worthy.
just stick his hand down and it comes down?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not worthy.
I don't. Apparently, neither am I. But that's why I have the thing. Okay.
Oh, wow.
But no,
No, it's true. It's true. I don't remember. I'm just trying to think back to even like being young in Vanderhaven. I think if anything,
We'd be off in the woods building forts out of
yeah, whatever.
acquired lumber.
yeah, yes. I don't
set
think.
off smoke bombs and little firecrackers and stuff in the woods. Start setting stuff on
All
fire.
day.
Yeah,
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 like
all day.
nobody was around to say no.
No, definitely not.
It was be home when the lights come on.
Right. So I think my mom wasn't a helicopter parent per se. My mom was just she was just a bitch. But she literally, like, I mean,
Your words. That's
I was grounded all the time.
Yeah, you were.
Oh.
And that was just her way of dealing with having kids at that point. You know, my parents had already been separated, and you had myself and my sister who are in our early teens, you know, late 10s, whatever. And she just couldn't handle it. So we were grounded all the time. So I think it wasn't like she was a helicopter parent, but I wasn't allowed out a lot. I would have to sneak out.
Well, what
I think, too,
by,
though-
by
But
helicopter.
she wasn't. I know. I'm just
Yeah, you
saying, like,
know.
I know exactly what you're saying. But I mean, like, so if anybody in the development was, their mom was going to come looking for him, it was mine.
Well, I mean, my point is that though, it seemed like our parents' generation like had a very drastically different approach to parenting than our generation does. Where it was kind of like, yeah, you know, the kids don't. You don't have any. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't get an opinion. You don't have a say in the way things are.
Oh,
You're just
right.
along for the ride as a kid.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, oh, we're gonna ask what does the kid want to do, and I get offended. I'm like, nobody asked me when I was a kid. Nobody gave a shit what I wanted to do.
No, it's
Yeah.
But it's different, and I think a lot of that has to do with why you see more people along the lines of helicopter parents nowadays. Because you were raised where it's like, yeah, whatever, go do your own thing. Like, it almost felt like nobody cared,
right.
and you don't want to repeat that cycle for your own kids.
Right.
And there's something of an overcorrection.
Well, I think there's a couple of factors that come into it. Is one, the readily available amount of information that we are bombarded with.
Huge thing.
Right, exactly. That's what I was
We
gonna say.
always knew, like, I mean, I remember my mom saying, like, all right, you don't get in the car with anyone unless they know the secret password,
right.
you know, kind of thing. But I also remember my mom, when I was 5, let me walk all the way up Chimney Rock Road to the bakery to get donuts. So there was kind of like a line of, they're going to let you be a kid, they're going to let you do things. But every once in a while, you heard about somebody being kidnapped or something. Now, at least 6 times a day, I see
Yeah.
a missing child post on Facebook.
It's it's constant.
John Mulaney had a great bit. He was like the whole kid, the missing child on a milk carton
Yeah.
thing. Like, that started in like the 80s. They're like, hey, we should probably start looking for some of these guys, you know? Back in the day, you know,
Yeah. But you only heard about, you know,
child abductions was all the rage back in the day.
and I'm sure that it was going on at the rate and everything that
No,
it
it
is
was
now.
going at a higher rate
Probably.
back then.
And you hear about the serial killers and all the stuff that went on back then. We all know that now, but it wasn't just in your face
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the time.
Well, that's the big difference. Is that, like, all right, let's, for example, say there was in 1 year back in like the 70s, say 75. I'm just throwing numbers out here.
All right, let's
There
see.
was, 1,000 child kidnappings in that year.
Right.
You might have heard about 6 of them
Right.
on the news.
Now you hear about
depending upon
every
what-
single
Now there's 500, half the number, but you hear about 490 of them.
Exactly.
So it seems like there's so many more. It's just that information, like you said,
Yeah.
it's just coming at you in waves, and it's just
All the
unrelenting, and
All
it
the
makes
time.
you become paranoid, especially now. Like, we have kids now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're hyper aware of everything. It's like, oh my God, like, I did that as a kid. Like, I could have killed myself. Like, I'm not letting my kid do that.
Well, that was going to be my next point. Was we always had the parents who were like, they would let us do the dumb shit and then catch us in it. Like, they knew what we were doing, let us do it, let us screw it up, and then be like, no, I caught you. I did the same thing.
Yep.
We've kind of taken the mentality of, I know what's going to happen. I know what happened to me. I'm not going to let that happen to my kids. So that's where I think that switch changed.
Yeah, that's a big one too, because you really don't let the kid develop as a person unless you give him that independence.
You do want to give them the independence, but at the same time, I mean, it's scary.
hard.
You know, where we live, I'm afraid to let them. I mean, we live in Hillsboro, and there's just this road that runs through our development, which is kind of like people use it as a bypass to go from one main road to another
To avoid the light.
and they just fly. And you know, like my daughter wants to ride her bike down the sidewalk, and I have to literally watch, like from my step, and just make sure that nothing. And I mean, the same thing with
Well, it didn't
anybody
help that you guys had like
anybody-
creepy child molester looking
that.
around Hillsboro
Yeah,
too.
boy, that was not cool. That was not cool.
Never is.
No, knowing that it was that close, and I mean, like there was pictures of them, and I just
Like in the next neighborhood over.
yeah, no, that was not. I wanted to find the guy really bad.
You and me both.
But it's nuts though, because I think, like, didn't my parents worry about that kind of stuff? Because like, we talked about this the first time you were on the podcast.
Yeah.
I remember being out all day.
Yep.
All day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody was looking for me. Nobody was saying. Nobody was driving around trying to find me. Like, I just came home and everybody. She's like, "Oh, you're back already? What? You know, I'm not done cleaning. Go back outside."
Right.
And it's not that she was a bad mother. It was just
No, but you're also looking at a time too where I think people knew your neighbors, you knew the people that your kids were with.
nope.
My mom
Nope.
did.
We didn't know the neighbors.
Oh, see, my mom did. My mom knew. Like I was with Andusco or Will or Desiderio. Like she knew the parents of the people I was hanging out with. So I was somewhere around with them, and somebody probably had some idea of where we were or what we were doing. Lancey, like we were mostly always at Lancey's house.
Yeah. We were.
No, my mom didn't. My mom knew like my friends, but she didn't know the parents. She didn't know how to get in touch with them.
And like that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. When my
yeah.
mom let me walk up the street, I mean it was probably about half a mile to the bakery, but we knew every person on that street.
Right.
I remember your brother used to walk to my house when you guys lived on Winder. He used to walk all the, and then when you think about it, like that's not a short walk.
No, it's probably half a mile, three
Where
quarters.
did you live?
I lived on the other side of Waltersbrook,
Okay. All right.
or the other side of Vanderveer off Waltersbrook.
Right.
Like the pass through between Glenbrook and to come back on that cut through there is off that.
But
That's sure. That's not that bad.
it's not that bad. But I don't know. I mean, I guess he was a little older too around those times. But
Yeah.
it's just like I can't. I want my son to be able to go out and play the way I did.
Right.
But I'm gonna give myself like, you know, a condition is worrying. I can only imagine his mother.
I see. I think that growing up in Vanderhaven,
I used to
It
live in
made me
Vanderhaven
miss
too for a minute as well.
it makes me miss that. Like I kind of wish that I lived in a place like that, because even though nowadays when you go back there, you don't know. My mother-in-law still lives there. She doesn't know who her neighbors are anymore.
No.
It used to be you knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but the bond that all of us kids had growing up, you know, was so tight. Even though we might have gotten in fistfights with each other.
Yep.
That's what kids do.
Exactly. But I mean, still to this day, like we are a group of people from all you know, from my wife's age, even going down to my brother-in-law's age. You know, like
We used to babysit him.
exactly
Like that's how far.
exactly. But the group of kids that he hangs out with,
I
they
remember
came
when
from
he
that
was a
same
little
development.
kid
Yeah.
saying, "I could do whatever I want. My dad rides a Harley."
Sounds about
I'll
right.
never forget that.
That mentality hasn't changed. I love my brother-in-law, but yeah, no, that close knit, you know, group of friends. But the
Neighborhood kids.
the safety of Vanderhaven. There was no, you never had to worry about cars flying through, even though they did. But like it just we never
We were throwing snowballs at him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that if I were a parent back then, or even now, and we lived in a place like that, I would feel a lot better about letting my kids go.
But is that whole concept of like the neighborhood kids, like all the kids on the block, is that gone? Like, did it actually disappear?
I mean, I feel like
or do we just not live in those kind of communities?
I think that we don't live in those.
we don't
kind
live
of
in those kind of communities,
communities.
but also like they know each other. I think more through like they're playing the video games online, or they're talking on whatever app they're on, or whatever.
Right.
They're not actually going out and interacting, like playing football, street hockey, skateboarding, whatever it was we used to do.
Right.
Because you had a dial-up internet connection that, you know, every time mom picked up the phone because she didn't realize you were on the
Kicked me
computer,
off.
you got kicked off.
Yeah, you didn't have all these other options.
Right.
exactly.
And we would rather be at the pool skateboarding.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know, things like that. Now it's so many different options that they have, and a lot of them do revolve around this.
And
Yeah,
it makes us as parents feel better that we know where the kids are.
they're right in front of that
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
That's where they are.
And we would do the video games, but like after a couple hours, we'd all get bored and go, "Yeah, let's go play football or something."
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and-
what we used to do. We used to remember. You know Ryan Caniglio.
Sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah, yeah.
Nino Caniglio.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Nino.
yeah.
Yep.
Pizza King of Williamsburg. I don't know. He's got a bunch of pizza places.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
He's doing good. Anyway, me, him, and the other two kids, Eddie and Aaron. We used to play the WCW versus NWO.
Mhm.
Remember those?
Yeah.
We'd play those for like 2 hours,
Mhm.
and then we go outside and do it in real life.
Exactly.
Like do all the moves
Right.
on one another.
That's what we used to do too. Even when I was even younger than like the skateboarding year. Tommy Robinson, Johnny Robinson. We
Right
used to
across
go
the
to
street.
Gramsci. We used to go to Gramsci's to watch WrestleMania. Like, but the wrestling thing that was fun. You know, like
Yeah.
That was a
do the
big
same
thing for our generation.
We would do the same thing. We would watch wrestling, then go outside and mess around with it.
Where did all the kids go? There's like one kid that lives across the street, and he's a little older than my son.
Yeah.
But then I don't see any other kids.
Okay, so where we live, while I'm not too keen on that one road that runs through, which is definitely, it really freaks me out. There are a lot of kids Olivia's age.
Mm-hmm.
Within, I'm trying to think. There's probably like, I would say 10 kids at our bus stop.
Really?
Yeah. So where we live, there's actually a good amount of kids, and they do. Like right now, obviously it's winter, but during the summer months, they'll go out, and even then I see some kids, like some of the kids just riding their bikes on the street, and I get freaked out. I'm like, you're not gonna do that. You're not.
But that's like
You're not gonna do that.
we got warped somewhere along the line, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where that was. I think it was as soon as I had kids, automatically I became.
Well, yeah, I think
My wife will tell you stories. I mean, I was the worst when she was pregnant, and she couldn't eat this and she couldn't eat that.
Oh yeah, you.
I
were.
mean, I seriously, I am probably the most carefree person. As soon as she became pregnant, I was all about what my family makes fun of me still to this day. Like, and she tells stories like I would sneak tuna sandwiches because he wouldn't let me eat tuna. Not like,
But let me ask you this: what's better, like caring too much or not caring?
caring too much, 100%.
Yeah,
I'd
absolutely.
rather care too much than not care at all.
I feel it was way more common back then just to not give a shit. Like if they're kids, they'll be fine, you know.
Yeah.
Until they weren't,
And we,
you know,
well, yeah, some weren't, some were. I'm
playing
fine.
on old rusted metal friggin' jungle gyms.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had tetanus shots. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, and I think it's like the you kind of know your kid's values too. I would think. Like I don't have any, so I'm speaking in complete hypotheticals here. But you kind of know, like I said before, your parents always knew what you were getting away with. They just wanted to catch you with it, kind of thing. You know your kid's values. Like I know my parents knew I was doing dumb shit, but they also knew like I wasn't out like doing heroin.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of the line. Like, yeah, could at any point I have fallen into that hole if I was with the wrong group? Sure.
Sure.
But I always like I guess like your kids kind of know better.
He's fine. The worst thing he's doing is jerking off in his bedroom.
Please. You're huffing gas and jumping off the bridge.
Yeah, that was it. That's exactly what we were doing.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. The railroad trestle down past Vanderhaven. You've never been there?
The one that goes on Milltown?
If you can see it from the,
If you get on the one by Milltown, you know the one you drive under.
Yeah.
If you can take the tracks all the way
you can
towards
go up and walk. You can
Towards
see,
22 or towards 202?
towards 22.
yeah, you can see it from the print shop where they're redoing the bridge over off River Road in Branchburg. You can actually see it from there.
The little wooden one?
No. They're redoing the little wooden one, but if you look down into the woods towards the river,
There's another
there's
one.
a big, like 60-foot high train trestle
Used to
that we used to
jump
jump
off
off
of
of
it.
all the time.
It's
Yeah.
a long walk from Vanderhaven.
Mile and a half, 2 miles,
About that, yeah.
because it's a straight shot down the train tracks.
Yeah. It was
Really?
fun. Just to go there, smoke.
We always thought we were going to end up
Stand
like,
by me.
yeah, I was just going to say that.
Pretty
You
much.
guys want to see a dead body?
Oh no, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, we were kind of doing.
We
some
were
stuff
doing
that
dumb stuff, but we weren't doing like we weren't out doing like heroin and stuff like that.
Right.
But at the same time, like it's kind of a miracle that you guys ended up as well as you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who said we're okay?
I know.
It's also kind of bold
You're
that you think
functional.
we've peaked with the dumb stuff.
yeah, that's true too.
You're upright. That's a good baseline.
I do look back at a lot of those times and thank something
Yeah.
for me getting through.
Yeah, I agree.
So we did a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I guess that's part of being a parent.
It is part of being a parent. You just kind of
Realize that you're in charge and you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's it. You kind of just, fly by the seat of your pants and hope that everything turns out okay.
Well, I forget who I was listening to that said something to that extent. They're like, you think you're being the worst parent and you're not getting everything done the right way, and then you talk to a bunch of others and you realize that everyone else is fucking up just as much as you are.
Nobody
Yeah.
fucking knows a guy.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
What's even better is when you think your kid, like, this fucking kid, like, I'm going to kill him. He's like a little devil child. And then you go around someone else's kids,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden he's an angel.
Angel.
Like, oh, you know what? I take back everything I said. You're amazing.
Angel.
Well, yeah, get 17 4 or 5 year olds and try and corral them all.
Yeah, that's definitely
All right.
fun.
So we briefly mentioned this before.
All right, let's go.
One of the big differences between our generation, our kids' generation, and the generations before us is the internet.
Yes.
Obviously, before us, we were the first generation to have it.
Mhm.
So we grew up
Right.
literally with it, right alongside it.
Correct.
And our kids, it's already blossomed into what it is. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
know nothing
born
but
into it.
Right, exactly.
So I think that's one of the big things, especially now, because you see like our parents' generation like discovered Facebook now finally. And I mean, I'm just gonna say it, they ruined it.
Yes.
They've absolutely ruined
Okay,
it.
boomers, they definitely ruined it.
Like it's always like they used to say like, why they would make fun of like us, say, oh, why? What is this Twitter? You gotta just post every little thought. Oh, I'm taking a shit. Oh, I farted. I hope nobody heard me. And like, what is it they're doing now?
And
exactly that.
In general, I always said, like, I used to wish I could read people's minds. Then I got Facebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the worst.
I see. For me, it's comical. It doesn't.
I
bother-
don't find the joke anymore. I don't
it doesn't
find
bother
humor in
me
it.
in the least. There's.
I basically use it to post memes and places I'm DJing.
I hardly ever post.
Yeah, I'll like share a picture or something.
Yeah, like something
that was like from Instagram.
Yeah, something I
Right,
find
right.
funny or whatever.
I'll
Yeah.
usually only post on Instagram and then just share it right to Facebook.
Yeah,
I'll go onto Facebook and tag it because it won't be tagged, obviously. But aside from that, I might scroll through and see what's going on. But aside from that, it's humorous.
I think we really all saw it like hit its peak around like the 2016 election when all of a sudden everybody was on there and everybody was a political expert.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah.
Like, you know
I
what
know
I mean?
you and I went back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah, and you know what it is? I got tired of arguing with people on Facebook because number
Yes.
one, excuse me, I talk through burps now.
So do I.
This is the thing. Number one, you're not changing anyone's mind.
Nope.
Number two, you can really never be sure if the information you got is legit or not.
Right.
You could say like somebody else, oh, you got your information from some guy's post and some guy who's got his profile picture of a fish.
Yeah.
Like that's not a reliable source. But then I look back, do I have a reliable source? And you start questioning your own stuff, and then it's like, well, maybe it's not worth it because I've argued a point and realized like an hour later that I was wrong.
Yeah.
That I was going off bad information. You feel like a horse's ass.
Yep. Yep,
But I
100%.
feel like with our parents' generation, because they didn't grow up with it, like I feel like there's a certain etiquette, kind of a code that certain things you just don't do.
Yeah.
And they never got that memo.
Yeah.
So with them, it's just like raw emotion, and
Yeah.
so a lot of it is just vitriol, and just like it's ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
they-
thing too, there was I don't know if you guys ever watched The Middle. They actually do something about this, exactly this in one of the episodes where the dad, played by
Neil Flynn.
our janitor buddy from Scrubs, he has a business, whatever, and his son creates him a Twitter account to try and draw more attention to the business. Somebody makes a bad comment on Twitter about the business. He goes back and says something to him, and then the kid comes home and he's like, "What did you do?" He's like, "You have 30,000 people on Twitter calling you an idiot." And then the guy like tweets his home phone number. He's like, "How did they get our number?" He's like, "It's in the phone book." Like it shows how dated they are and just not thinking about how those things work. And I mean, I think there's a lot of people that do that in general anyway from the younger generation. They just don't care.
Right.
Whereas, like I said, you and me had gone back and forth because while we agree on a lot of things, there's some stuff that we have differing opinions on. But we've always been able to have conversations and either agree to disagree or come to a happy medium, whatever it might be.
Yeah, well, we've known each other so long.
Right.
We respect that there's goodwill between the two.
Right,
of us.
and not only that, but
right.
like I respect.
There's goodwill between the two of
There
us.
is a goodwill.
right.
between
All right,
the
you
two
like
of us.
that?
It's
Yeah,
me and
saw that.
Vigo between you. It's
I'm
fine.
such a great dad.
You are.
Best dad joke ever.
But yeah, like we always had the, even if we agreed to disagree, or we have the understanding that we can have a conversation and maybe one of us is wrong or
Yeah.
isn't thinking about it from the other person's angle.
We're both so stubborn, though.
We are.
Yeah.
We are. But at the same time, like we've never gotten to like screaming at each other. It's
No.
always
Yeah.
always a conversation.
Yeah, we could debate without hating one another.
And there's so many people, and I say this half-heartedly, like joking, but there's so many people that never got punched in the face for saying something wrong as a kid
Well, that's,
that they just say whatever they want because they know that there's no repercussion because nobody can actually get to them.
exactly. That's the problem with talking online is that you're not looking at another person, so you don't have to
Yeah.
respect those social norms. Like, there's no threat, like you said. Like, if you say something outrageous, that someone's going to smack your mouth.
Yeah.
Whereas there's that keyboard is that layer of separation.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you hear, like, famous people, they'll say, oh, so-and-so is talking shit, and then I just happen to send them a direct message. Say, hey, what's going on? Why are you saying this horrible stuff? And they, oh, no, I don't really feel that way. I was just trying to see if you would respond.
Right.
Like, the tone changes
Of
every
course,
time.
Of course, immediately.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, our parents, I think, just are kind of that. They kind of grew up without filters to begin with, at least my dad. And they just are
No
using
filter on the mouth or on the cigarettes.
Nope. They're just doing that on Facebook. So
No, it's funny because there's a,
that's why I got rid of Twitter. I couldn't deal with Twitter anymore.
I never really.
I was on it for like a
tried.
year. I was on it for like a year. I just couldn't do it.
there's a group that on Facebook that somebody showed to me, and it's kind of along the same lines. It's called Please Show to Jim, haha. And
Please what?
Please show to Jim. And basically gyms are like, that's the new terminology for like old people posting on the internet. And like, I mean, for instance, this is a visual, but this is one that was posted.
It's an old man at the Kansas City game with an old digital camera.
Just taking, but I mean, like it's similar. And then there's posts and like things that they post on Facebook. And
That guy was old, and he was doing the.
He's exactly, but it's little things like this. It's literally all these posts of like what these older people are posting or text messages that they've sent to their kids or little things. And it's hilarious.
It's like the commercials. I unfriend you. That's not how this
Yeah,
works.
exactly.
That's not how any of this works.
Exactly. I mean, it's. I don't find it to be that bad that they're throwing stuff out there. I think it's actually comical. They don't know any better, man.
I feel bad for them.
I do too, but at the same time, it's.
And I want to say something. Like, do you realize how ridiculous you seem right now?
This is if I can find this.
You always see, like, it's always like, I don't know. I find like middle-aged white women are the ones who really are the biggest offenders.
some of the worst at it.
Yeah, because they're the ones who post like it's like, oh, I can't believe so and so on but the Real Housewives of New Jersey, such and such.
Yeah.
Like, why do you like? Why?
I don't know.
But it's always like, and it's always something like hateful or like, I can't believe so and so. She was terrible. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, why do you need to share that? Why can't you say something nice? Like, if you don't, what about the shit you taught us? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
that's a prime example.
Oh, you made me. This is long.
No, you don't have to read it.
Oh.
So this is just I took a screenshot of this. This is my great uncle. That was his profile picture.
What is it?
I don't know, a picture of some application that he had to fill out for his job.
It literally is like a form you fill out your first day of work.
He changed that. He made that his profile picture.
I feel like every
Probably by accident.
every
but-
old man's profile
Yeah.
picture.
Do you see what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that he actually made
It's
that
like
his profile. And
the
I
cameras
laughed.
take at like this level, and they're always like confused. Like, is this working? And they don't like try another one. Like, oh, I wasn't smiling. And I was like, oh, first one done, good, got it.
I mean,
The one thing I'll give my dad credit on is he actually asked me this stuff. He's like, how do I get a picture up here without it looking stupid?
At least he asked.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
no, that's that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes me laugh. I'm sorry.
Some of it's
might
funny.
be that stuff like that. It does. It makes me laugh. I mean,
He was probably trying to fill it out and like shared it and did it by accident and just
I had to take a screenshot. I literally laughed for so many
What is
hours.
it?
I don't know.
How did he even get it on there?
I
Like,
don't know. He must have taken a picture of it. Why?
He probably had it like saved as
That's what
something
I'm
he
saying.
needed it and like uploaded that instead of his actual picture.
See, that was my reaction. That's why I
Oh.
actually screenshotted it. I knew eventually I'd need that.
And sometimes they like, there was a one
See?
meme where it was like I think it was like some kind of like baked bean company, and they had their Facebook page, and it was just like they had an ad for like the baked beans, and this old guy he commented on the picture, thinking about those beans. Like, what is that?
Do you see what I mean? I mean, it's comical. That's why I'm okay with old people on Facebook. I don't think they ruined
Yeah.
Facebook. I think they made it a great place. It's comical.
I mean, we get it. We get it better just because we were the generation that had to teach ourselves code to make a cool MySpace page.
Oh yeah.
right? Yes.
Or you just have those pages where it just copy and paste this, so I can have fireworks over my top 8.
Oh God. I
Yeah,
remember.
and you. Oh God, picking your top 8. If you didn't put the right people in there, you were in trouble.
We had, like our kids today, they don't know what that's about.
no.
They don't have MySpace.
I tried to get
no.
into mine to find the old pictures. I can't remember what email account I used.
Oh no.
I remember mine because
Okay.
you could like pick like the URL that you would have. Like,
Yeah.
So it would be MySpace / such and such.
Yeah.
I was so emo. You want to know what mine was?
I
Oh,
remember it.
I can't wait.
I remember it.
MySpace.com / I gave love a bad name.
I remember that. I remember.
It was good, right?
Oh, God,
it was
I
good.
remember.
I remember it.
Oh God, I forgot. Oh.
Mine was simple. It was just myspace.com / Mr. JK.
I don't remember mine, to be honest. I don't remember mine. I do remember being so excited about embedding music into my page.
Yep.
And the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Oh my God, you were so obsessed with that band.
That was the greatest. I was so excited to learn the code for that.
What was there was a band the lead singer from As I Lay Dying started. It was like a side project where all the songs were just about like Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
I've never
Austrian
heard it.
Death Machine.
I've never
no,
heard of
really?
this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like they had a song it's like, come on, do it now. Come on, kill me. I'm here. Do it now.
Oh my God. I have to look that up.
It's basically it's As I Lay Dying, but just singing about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
No,
I've never heard of this.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway,
I love these tangents we go off on.
I know, but yeah, I'm sure that the generations today will have their own versions of
Oh, of course.
MySpace. And
Well, this is
everything.
like, I don't get TikTok. I don't know what the hell it's about.
It's
I
just
don't
like
want
See,
to.
that's us being.
That's me being old. Like, I don't want to learn it. I want nothing to
There's
do with
nothing
it.
to learn. It's just posting videos. Most of the shit on there, like it's no like one formula. It's just they post videos of whatever the fuck they want.
Aren't they
essentially.
doing like the lip syncing songs?
Yeah,
and
they
all of
do
a sudden
that
they go
too.
like this, and then they change into something different, but they're still lip syncing.
They do that, but there's
Magic.
a lot of stuff on there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I-
If you want, Tom Segura,
Yeah.
his podcast with his wife Christina Pajitsky,
Mhm.
like the whole thing, they just have like crazy videos of like mentally ill people on the internet. And one of the things she does is she follows. She has TikTok, and she's trying to like curate a feed of just like the most outrageous, like weird people.
Mhm.
And that's all it is. And most of it isn't them singing. It's just like random shit.
Yeah.
They're saying, you better not talk shit to me because you're fucked up, Josh.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, like dumb stuff.
I don't know. It's just another social thing that I don't care to learn.
Yeah, that one's like so. It's basically like unlimited Vine, right? It's just video.
I think I don't even think it's as long as
Vine is
Instagram video.
Okay.
'Cause,
Oh, really?
yeah,
So
Vine is
there
only
is a
6
time.
seconds.
Yeah, but there is a time limit on the TikToks.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really short.
Oh God, we're old,
Instagram
guys.
now, you have IGTV, so you can make it
Yeah,
as long as you
I
want.
did a bunch
essentially.
of IGTV
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, I've seen that. I don't do them though.
I like Instagram. I'm good with
Yeah,
Instagram.
Instagram is good with me.
I like
Until-
Instagram too.
Until
I don't mind
boomers ruin
Snapchat
it.
too much.
Goddamn boomers.
Snapchat, I gave up on a long time ago.
I never use it except for my wife she'll just snap me, stuff with the kids.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever use Snapchat. That's probably me being old. I'm sure there's some use for it.
When you guys were young,
Porn.
did you guys play a lot of video games?
Yeah,
I've never been a big gamer.
I did.
I mean, I played. I'll never miss a Zelda game. I've played every single one of them start to finish.
definitely never miss a Zelda
But
game.
I'll do some Mario here and there. But like, I never delved into like the whole gamer world.
Well, one of the things, it's not so much about being a gamer, so much as like you had the experience of like playing Sega
Oh, yeah.
as a kid,
Yeah.
and your parents say, "Get off that thing; it's gonna rot your brain." Like
Yes.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
Now we look at kids playing on the iPad or something like that, and I have the same exact reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you so close to the screen for? Why are you always playing the game? Like,
Yeah.
come, go outside.
I mean, I agree with the go outside thing,
Yes.
but I
do.
don't think that it's rotting their brain.
No.
I mean, my brain's not rotten from many years of watching MTV and wrestling and then video games. And
Do you see some of the stuff on YouTube, kids? And now this is
yeah,
a perfect
yeah.
example.
Well, yeah.
Is this me being old, or is this stuff dumber now?
No, it is dumber. It is dumber.
It is dumber.
Because there's no filter. Like there's no, there's no wall to go through. You could just post whatever, and the kids can find whatever.
And that part,
That's the difference.
Right, that part is scary. But my kids they have their own separate tablets. Milo has like an Amazon, one of those kid tablets with the kid bumper shit on it, and that one can't access YouTube.
Okay.
My daughter, same thing. Olivia, we made sure we took the YouTube app off of there. Because once all these like YouTube Kids things, and then you can pop in and you start seeing like Spider-Man fucking.
Yeah, I've heard some of the
Little
YouTube
Mars,
Kids stuff is
It's weird.
ridiculous.
It's weird. Oh no, perfect example. So, my sister was over our house with her daughter for like the holidays or whatever the case may be, and she had her tablet or my sister's phone, one or the other. And the kids are all together hanging out. We're doing our thing, and then my wife goes over and she's like, "Oh, what are you guys watching?" It was literally videos of somebody taking stuffed animals, cutting them open, and then there was like jelly beans coming out of them. Like, what the fuck is this? Like my wife immediately said, "Nope."
Yeah,
no,
because now you're gonna have the kid go try and cut his friend open because he wants jelly beans.
But who? I mean, seriously, like, or the videos of people playing with toys. What?
Well, that's just dumb. But
I know, but
I think one of the big concerns is too, like people sneak like weird, like creepy stuff. Like there was the Momo stuff that was floating around,
yeah,
which wasn't even really a thing, and then it got blown up into a thing
It did get
because
blown up
people
into
were
a thing.
afraid of it. And there's all like the Slender Man stuff, and
Yeah.
when there was like Jeff the Killer or something like
Jeff the
that.
Killer, yeah.
It's
I
like
didn't do nothing.
no, but no, it's like weird, like scary stories.
I can give you
like,
some weird stuff.
What?
I can tell you some weird stuff.
Tell me.
After the show. We'll talk. I mean, if you want.
Oh, okay.
I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just if anybody's out there, if you really want to watch something weird, possibly in Michigan, just YouTube that. Or Vimeo. I think Vimeo has the whole video. It's like 13 minutes long, called Possibly in Michigan. Just watch the whole thing. It's really messed up. And there's also a YouTube channel, Robert Hauptmann.
Okay.
Hauptman. It's I think it's an art guy, and he just made these short videos, maybe about 50 seconds long, and it's set to like calliope music, and it's just supposedly a corpse, and him doing things like this corpse just randomly shows up, and then I randomly find these videos. See,
How do you? I randomly find like Karate Kid 3 explained. You know what I mean? Like I'm not finding corpse videos.
I was doing research for
this
something.
guy's watching snuff films on
No,
YouTube.
Oh my god, I don't even know. To be honest, I probably I just researched like weird videos one day.
Really?
Yeah, and I found like Reddit, and then it just started posting all these random things. The Possibly in Michigan one is just again, they're art films, so they're not like real. That Robert Hauptmann one, I don't believe that it's actually a corpse. It's wrapped up in like garbage bags, but it's like it's in the bath. He does weird things, and yeah, but no, the Possibly in Michigan, it's a song, and it's just very strange.
Well,
It's fun
there's
though.
No shortage of weird.
You're
shit.
welcome. You're welcome. If you like weird
God.
shit. If you don't, I apologize. Don't let your kids watch it.
I'm afraid to look.
We'll put this in the liner notes of the podcast. No,
But
don't.
yeah, I don't get a lot of the YouTube stuff.
No, neither do I.
Maybe I'm just like I'm too old for it.
I don't think you're too old for it. It shouldn't be there. I mean, it's not that you're too old for it. Seriously,
Yeah.
some of this shit it is too weird, and this is coming from me.
But even like, I'm not even talking about like the bad stuff. I'm referring more just like the dumb, stupid stuff. Like, like we were kids, we watched shows that had story and like characters.
But dude,
where they're literally watching kids unwrap presents.
well, right,
That's one I've heard that I can't wrap my head around.
Anytime you're watching somebody do something that you could do yourself, I don't fucking get. Well, except for for kids, I'm talking about.
Yeah, like I get they're on like Twitch or something watching like video games. Like they're watching other people play games because they want to see how to beat certain things.
Right.
Like watch what this guy's technique.
But you don't
is.
know how to. You don't need to know how to open a present.
Yeah, that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But then again, like they're growing up with this.
Yeah.
Like that's what they know.
Right.
Like I use YouTube for tutorials.
Yeah.
Lacrosse
Tutorials
drills,
are great. Yeah.
Lacrosse drills. How do I fix this on my car if I'm not sure where it is? Like little things like that. But I can't like somebody told me about this, like their kids watching other kids play with like Matchbox cars or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
like you can get your own Matchbox cars and enjoy the fun and not just
Who's
watch
that?
it.
Who's here? Hello?
Sounded like something was moving outside the door.
Dude, that was weird.
Super weird. It's a ghost. It's Slender Man.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, I know what that was.
Slender Man.
That was my
It sounds like-
father-in-law's printer.
I was gonna say it sounds
Oh.
like a printer's going
It's
off
like
or something.
cycling or
Yeah.
something. We all just I got legit nervous there. Like, Vigo, what are you doing?
Oh, great.
So, since we're talking about YouTube, what about music? Music today.
Oh, we're back to
man.
this.
Here
I
we
don't
go.
get it.
Here we
I
go.
don't
I
either.
don't get it.
And this is coming from a DJ.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I never got it, to be honest.
I mean, everybody kind of has their thing. Like, you know, my dad's still into like the Motown and stuff that he grew up enjoying.
I wonder if that's the heater.
No, I don't think it's a heater.
And like,
Anyway.
I still like a
It's
lot of the
fine,
stuff
we're
that we were
alive.
listening to. Like I was on Spotify today and I stumbled on a channel called Emo Forever, and it had
God.
it had like a bunch of stuff that we used to
God.
listen to 10, 15 years ago.
Did you guys get your My Chemical Romance tickets or what?
No.
Oh,
No.
God damn it.
I was never that into
I was
them.
never that.
Neither
into
was
them
I.
either.
I just wanted to do it for nostalgia's sake, but once I saw, I didn't try to buy them, but then I went on a couple hours later to see if there was any left, and they were. I can't believe that
it
people
sold
did
out in
that.
like half an hour.
And then people resold them.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest tickets you can find now is like 300 and plus.
Yeah.
Like, and then
How is that different from, like, you know, people that grew up in the 80s buying tickets to see Poison? You
No,
know?
and it's to
Right?
each their own. And that's,
Yeah.
I think, the thing is like so I'll say the one thing I've actually started listening more to lately, and I think it's just because years upon years of DJing and like just hearing the same songs over and over, and like especially getting tired of the stuff today, like some of this Cardi B, Nicki Minaj stuff. Like I can't get into it. I started listening to country because
I'm not making that about face.
I
Just wait till you get
stumbled
to-
on. I stumbled on a couple of artists that I liked and just kind of
No,
went
there's-
down the rabbit hole a little bit and started listening to some country stuff.
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Nothing
there's
wrong
some
with
there's
that.
some good country,
But
but
I
I mean, keep in mind, there's plenty of people that are like the country people.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Oh,
country
yeah,
music
we-
people.
I'm not
that
like
are saying,
backwoods.
oh, country,
We know
country
country.
today.
We know
no,
country
I'm
people.
talking about like country music purists.
Mhm.
They think, pop country, like this
Yeah.
is bullshit. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
get that. And they're having the same conversation.
Well,
Which-
Taylor
you know what I
Swift-
mean?
Taylor Swift was country when she came out.
She used to be.
which is kind of more of what I
And then-
listened to. Like I went and saw Thomas Rhett this summer and had it was a great show and everything. But
Nice.
I still listen to like one of my favorite stations and playlists and stuff to find on Spotify is like the '90s rock stuff, Collective Soul,
Okay.
Gin Blossoms. You're getting like Toad the Wet Sprocket and stuff like that. But that's stuff that I grew up listening to. Goo Goo Dolls,
Right.
bands and that's
Right.
probably one of my favorite bands ever is Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
I think. Like, do you think though that because I mean our parents' generation certainly didn't get the music we liked.
Oh no, my father when I was listening to Wu-Tang hated it.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing too is like I'm a hip hop very much like you. Like I'm a hip hop and rap purist. Like Wu and KRS-One and Tribe and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. I realize that the hip hop that I like it they don't make it anymore.
No.
So
No.
The closest
like,
I found
I
is
can't say that I'm like I like old hip hop. I like oldies.
The
Right,
closest
right.
I found is like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar.
Okay, they're good. But
Right.
even Kendrick, like
It's not what it was,
I
but it's
don't like-
still good lyricist.
You guys,
like that's
you
my
guys
thing.
lost me.
what?
I don't know what you guys are talking
You don't know
about.
Kendrick Lamar?
No. If it's new, I don't know it.
Kendrick Lamar is really good. If you like hip hop,
Yeah, no, I do.
you
I
should
do.
listen to the album Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Really, really good album.
Yeah.
You can listen to it from
Yeah.
front to back, all the way through.
You know,
I
it's
can-
no
I can
it's
do
no
that.
Illmatic, but
But hang on, I would disagree because I would think of Illmatic, we hold that up to a higher
Yeah.
standard because that was Nas. Like he first
Yeah,
came on the scene. You hear New York
exactly.
State of Mind.
Yep.
It's different, but if you look at like the artistry, like if Good Kid, Mad City is legit, like it's not a rock opera, it's a rap opera. Like it's
Okay.
a story.
Mhm.
So each song is a different part of the story.
That's cool.
You know, it's like going through. I guess it takes place over the course of a little more than a day,
Okay.
but it goes from like it goes through this whole. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
story.
Like it's a gauntlet of
Yeah.
different things.
You know,
happening.
Ice Cube did that all in one song, and it was a good day.
Yeah.
And that's all I need. Just one. Just do it in one song, and I'm done with it.
But again, like that's where I say like Kendrick,
Woke
J.
up.
Cole,
I was
guys
gonna
like
say,
that.
So did Easy E.
Yeah.
guys like that, they're actually like
Well,
lyricists.
Ice Cube
They're-
technically wrote that as well. Anyway,
yeah, I know.
but they're lyricists. They're telling stories. Like, you know, we're woo. Like when they say, like, I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side, like they're actually putting a story together that you can follow with the lyrics. It just happens to be set to music.
Yeah.
Which is where, like I say, like J. Cole, Kendrick, some of these guys who have come out have done good stuff. But there was some song a couple months ago. I can't remember the name of the song.
Drop top.
No, this is terrible. Like
That was Migos.
I'll tell
Bad and bougie.
anyone who wants to really like read the lyrics.
Fucking
To
on the girl, she a dot.
it's close to that. I can't actually recite the lyrics because I am not dark enough to do that.
Yeah.
But if you look up, I can't think of the name of the song, but this artist is someone called Saweetie, Saweety.
Okay.
And it's called My Type. That's the name of the song. It first rips off Petey Pablo, like doesn't even sample it, like completely rips his music off, and the lyrics are just some of the most disgusting things I've ever heard a woman say.
A woman.
A woman.
Yes.
Really?
Oh.
Really?
I don't know. Have you ever watched Horrible Bosses?
I've seen that.
It makes Jennifer Aniston in that movie look very tame.
I'm going to say, because she said some stuff that I've never heard outside of a porno movie. in that.
This could go into a porno movie.
Wow. Okay.
Here, you want to give me the hammer so I don't get yelled at again?
Yeah, here you
Throw it at him. Yeah, there it is.
I am worthy. See, it flew to me.
Yeah, so going back, the what? Music today? No, I have no idea.
It's like
Popular music?
Does Olivia listen to like pop music? Does she make you put on like the pop stations when you get in the car?
All right, so no, but she doesn't do that. My wife created a Spotify station for her, and it has Lady Gaga. The Lady Gaga's in there, and some Tay Swift in there, which I'm okay with. You know, Lady Gaga, I can't hate, man. Her first album was pretty fucking good. It was catchy as shit.
The second album was better.
I don't know about that, but it's fine. We don't.
That's my own opinion.
That's exactly.
Purely opinion.
But even if you think about a lot of those songs, like how old are those songs? 6, 7, 8, 10
Well,
years?
some of the taste. but-
Steve's Crush,
yeah.
Katy
Longer
Perry
than
came
that.
out a while ago. Like
What's that?
I said, Steve's Crush, Katy Perry came out
I
a
don't
while.
have a crush on Katy Perry.
Not
This
anymore.
was on the episode.
Oh, you're trying to get me in trouble. I
Oh,
see what
he
you're doing.
did?
You fuck you. You swinging dick, you.
This was on the episode just 2 weeks ago. Come
Yeah.
on,
I was about to say, what are you trying to do to me here?
Betty
Why
knows.
don't you just step on my face while I'm drowning? Just throw me to the lions.
Leave me in the trenches taking grenades, John.
No, I mean, I'm. She doesn't like I said. There's. I'm trying to think if there's anything weird. No, not really. I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. Like she listens to that stuff. It's kind of. I don't even know where she picked it up. We would just kind of turn it on. Brittany would turn on Taylor Swift, and she started to like Taylor Swift, and like we would say like, "Oh, here's Bad Romance. Listen to this one." And, oh, okay, she likes that. And so she kind of like just picked up that stuff. But I mean, you could play kind of anything for her. I'm trying to get her into like, you know, punk rock and stuff, hardcore.
I got Tyler to start liking the AFI.
All right, that's it. That's a good start.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
I had on Dream Car.
Oh,
You know,
right.
it's his other project, the
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
from No Doubt.
Yeah,
And he likes that. So I'm like, oh, if you like this guy's name is Davey.
Yeah.
We're gonna listen. He's got some other music. He's like, okay. And he'll remember the words to certain songs and stuff.
yeah,
Get him into City and Color at all yet?
No, that's too sad.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. No,
He's
that's a bummer.
guaranteed to grow up emo if I play that for him.
That's a bummer. The one actually, I guess it would be internet based streaming. Okay, so to add on to the music thing, one great thing that Netflix has is the Beat Bugs. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
The what?
The Beat Bugs.
Beat Bugs?
Right. So it's a cartoon, and it's a bunch of bugs, different types of bugs, but all of their episodes are based on Beatles songs.
Okay.
Interesting.
And like, you know, All You Need Is Love is like the opening, and then each episode is split into two, and each of the parts is based on one song. So like there's a Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds song. My daughter loves the Beatles because of it. And that's, you know, like stuff like that is awesome. Like she knows so many Beatles songs because of that show.
You know what I thought was like a perfect one?
What's that?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
My kids love that. I
Very good for-
just showed them both of them, and boy, do they fucking love those movies.
Yeah. I made an all Marvel playlist on my phone.
Those
Did you?
two
Those-
soundtracks were
Amazing.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Amazing. He did such a good job.
We play a game. We'll be in the car, and go to the next one. Like, all right, what movie was this from? It's like, that was from Captain America 2, Winter Soldier. I'm like, that's right. It's Marvin Gaye, Trouble Man.
See, very good. No, that's I do want to introduce. As a matter of fact, so I wasn't always. When I grew up, I was punk and hardcore. More into that.
Oh yeah, we used to go to the Firehouse shows and all that stuff
like
all the time.
More into that type of stuff. But in my later years, I, because of friends, became a Rush fan.
Rush.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Get some Neil Peart in you.
One of the best drummers ever.
Dude, best drummers ever. And unfortunately, he just recently died. And because of that, I started to play more Rush for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And even Milo the other day just comes into the kitchen. He's going, closer to the heart. And I'm like, what? Closer to the heart. And it's like, yeah, sing it.
Edit that out.
No, don't leave that in there, man.
No, I'm just going to
Oh yeah, please change
lower
my
the
levels.
volume on that a little bit.
Sorry,
Maybe put a little auto tune on it.
a little bit. I need reverb. But yeah, no, I like that I can introduce my kids to stuff. Like my son now likes Axl Rose because he has long hair like Axl Rose. He's gonna be Axl Rose. My daughter loves David Bowie. So like that's what I like about having kids, that I can throw lots of shit on them from me.
One of the things that
I like that.
Yeah.
I
That's the only
stumbled
reason I
on the
had
show
kids.
and I love it because it's just so fun for me. It's a bit of a mind fuck a lot of the time too. But if you watch The Masked Singer at all,
Oh, I just
I've
watched
heard of
that.
it.
I just watched that last night.
that has opened up, from what I've heard from other people who have kids that are younger, opened up a whole range of music that they'd never heard before because they're watching these characters and they're all in costume, whatever. And where I say it's a mind fuck for me is I'm trying to figure these voices out and figure out who have I heard before, who do I know,
Right.
but they're doing songs that you haven't heard in 10, 12 years, 20 years. Like
Yeah.
they're doing Journey, they're doing Pat Benatar, like they're doing stuff that we always loved.
Right.
Yeah, damn right, Pat Benatar.
Yeah, damn right.
People are watching it with their kids and their kids are like, oh, what's that song? And then they go play them the real one. They're like, oh yeah, this is fun. So that's a really interesting one for anyone out there with kids. If you're trying to introduce them to like newer music, they do some newer stuff too.
Yeah.
But like last night, the spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it that does.
Sorry, don't say it. Don't say it.
All right, I won't say who lost and got voted off, but
Go ahead, say it. That's
the
fine.
song that they did, well, I could tell the guy was a horrible singer, couldn't figure out who this was at all. But one of the biggest rappers in the world
Mhm.
does Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Awesome song.
Yeah.
And like I'm thinking like, okay, well, there's got to be people watching this that nobody's heard from Lenny Kravitz in years. But
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal artist. You now get to go say, hey, this is some Lenny Kravitz stuff. Introduce your kids to it, because the guy was dressed up as a giant robot.
What I do is I like get my old iPod and I'll hook it up and I'll just put it on shuffle and I'll just tell Tyler, I'm like, all right, just keep skipping until you find something you like.
Yeah.
That way I know it's going to be something that like.
Well,
man,
our old iPods had
there's so much stuff
much
on there,
stuff
so
in there.
I can't even say that it would be something that like I would like.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I have stuff on there that I've never even heard before.
Yeah.
Like I put it on shuffle before. I'm like, what is this? Like I have this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was how I found out about the band Life of Agony.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did this even get on here?
How did you not know about Life of Agony before
I
that?
guess I just missed that wave.
But we were all
Your
just
brother gave it to me.
Yeah, we were all sharing files back and forth. Like I have files that I can play on my iPod from your old email account from
Oh God.
that I can't access on my computer because
Beeping that out.
Beep.
What's the timestamp? Well, okay, got it.
all right. But yeah, like I can't get into them on my computer
I
because
knew it was only a matter of time with you, Jeff.
We talked about this in advance.
Oh, anyway. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But
No,
what's
it's okay.
just popped in my head real quick. But yeah, I can't even access them on my computer because you only had 5 computers you could share your stuff with to let them play. So we were sharing stuff back and forth between iPods, and I'm like, I get stuff. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah, I have stuff from Colin's computer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Email addresses that none of us use anymore that are just there.
Right.
Well, anyway, we veered off, I think, sufficiently.
Wait,
So-
why did I even come here? What
We're
were
talking
we
about not understanding music that our kids listen to today.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we did. We talked about that. We
Yeah.
didn't veer
But
too far
we're
off.
very eclectic. I think all of us. Like, I mean, I'll have a jazz playlist on, and then I go to
Yeah.
punk stuff.
Yeah, Milo's original name was going to be Miles after Miles Davis. But then I thought Miles sounded too pretentious. So we went with Milo after the lead singer of the Descendants. So no, I mean, but seriously, going back to what I was saying, that is what I love about having kids is that you can introduce them to stuff that you like, and you know, while they might not like it, at least my kids are. They'll give it a listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're fine with me blasting 89.5 in the car and just headbanging. You know, they both have good hair to headbang.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
You know, it's
I've
great.
tried that with Ty. Like, I'll put on like some like old metal or something like that. I'm like, come on, you like this, right? And he goes, I don't know. I'm like, all right, I get it. I mean, you got to remember, that's the first time he's heard anything like that.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that recently I've noticed was the sign of me being old was like, you remember when we used to go to LBI and we'd be coming across the bridge with
Over the
like As I
causeway.
Lay Dying. Just
Well, we would always have a
blaring.
special song that we would play
Yeah.
whenever we would go over the causeway every year.
But
Yeah,
it was
that's- yeah,
blaring
that's
out of the
cute.
car, just loud as we could possibly get it. Now I'm in the car. I'm like, 15's a good place to put the volume.
God, this is so loud. Isn't this loud? I mean, this is like really offensively loud.
No, that's only my kids. They haven't learned yet. I have to have it blasting. I play Cannibal Corpse for them just to see how they.
Did you
react to
really?
it. Yeah. Hammer
Just-
smash face like.
Just to see what they would do.
Dude, I just need a blast beat. I just want to see if they headbang.
I do that stuff to Betty all the time. We'd be in the car. I'm like, baby, you like this song? It's like a Parkway Drive or something. Anyway, I don't know. I was about to like sing the lyrics,
You were going to.
and then I lost it.
We were so close.
Yeah, my mouth opened. I'm like, I don't
So
even have it,
close.
so I'm just gonna let that one go.
Ah,
Anyway, so we'll leave it at that. We'll put a button in that. We're already at almost an hour and a half.
wow, really?
Almost.
I'm only a beer and a half, so
I know, we don't have to leave.
I'm not going to.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
So anyway, gentlemen, thank you as always
No,
for
thanks
coming.
for
Thank you for having us. Always fun.
Anything you guys want to shout out?
no, only you. This book, Modern Manhood. I have.
This is the one that you are.
I'm
part
in
of.
there,
Yes, I've heard you talk about it. I have not had a chance to read. it.
I have begun this. Cleo Stiller, amazing, and Steve is in the book. So if you
I
have
just
a chance,
kept looking at it because I found
pick
it
it up.
funny that the front is the same thing as the Burnt Reynolds logo minus the mustache.
it is, and it is a better hairdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than the Bernie Sanders version.
Well, no, our buddy's band has a very similar
Oh, really?
picture for their like band logo. They're called Burnt Reynolds, and so it's Burt Reynolds' hair with the mustache, but it's the same like white silhouette and stuff.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I kept staring. I'm like, why does this look familiar? It hit me about an
That's
hour
what it
ago.
is.
Well,
Shout out
anyway,
to Burnt Reynolds.
shout out to Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
Shout out to Cleo Stiller. Modern
Yes.
Manhood. If you guys haven't picked it up yet, make
Pick it
sure
up
you
now.
do.
I will get some.
All right.
I got Amazon Prime now.
All right. So, thanks again for joining us. As always, you know where to find us. APodAmongstMen at gmail.com. APodAmongstMen on Instagram and Twitter. And, you're watching this or listening.
Either one.
Watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and all those other good places. So, we'll see you guys next week. Old Men out. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.